Hey, there you guys are. How you guys doing? Good to see you all. I'm going to bring in a special guest here in a few minutes, but we'll wait for him to join, and hopefully I can figure out how the heck I'm doing this because I don't know what I'm doing. Let me see here. Good to see you guys. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find my buddy here. Oh, it flew by me. I didn't get it. I'll have to wait a minute. Anyway, I'm going to bring on a special guest here in a minute. I'll guys show you guys the view out here while we're waiting. How about that? Pretty cool, huh? Can y'all hear me okay? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Just give me a thumbs up or something. And then I'll try to find our guest here. There we go. He's there. We're about to get him.
Hey,
Hey, how are you, brother?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm so good. Now that you're here, I'm happy. Oh, look at these filters. My team's hitting filters. Let's go there. All right, there we go. How are you, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, Ed. How are you?
I'm good. What about during the, by the way, let me first introduce you to my audience. So I, I don't think you need an introduction, but guys, this is Nick Vujicic. This is now one of my good buddies. So ever since we shot the show, I don't know, just a different connection than I've had with other people. And I've thought about that show, brother, so many times over and over again. It made an impact on me, which is why I don't normally do Instagram lives, to promote a show, but with you, I had to do it. So how are you, number one?
I love you, number one. Number two,
I love you, brother.
uh, I'm doing pretty good. Washing my hands like crazy.
Mm,
We got four beautiful children, and we're loving the fact that I'm at home. But as you know, every speaker right now is pivoting as much as possible. And I took your advice, Ed, and just want to thank you. You were one of the keys in me just embracing what's going on right now and just starting even my own podcast show. And just having me on your show, you're an incredible entrepreneur and coach to many, many people. And you've inspired me, bro. So thank you for what you do for the world.
thank you. Somehow I became very filtered here. Can we turn this off on my team? My goodness.
You want a
Let's see.
hand?
Watch this. Remove. See if it works. I don't know. I look younger either way. Thanks, guys. Did I look that old tonight that you needed to filter me? Holy crap.
It's so good.
Let me see if I can turn it off. Hold on a second. Let's see here. How do you do that? How about we remove? Did it work?
Oh,
I don't know. There, I got old again. I think I'm old again. I don't know. Anyway,
you look good to me.
thank you, brother.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So, hey, listen, guys, I wanted to share a few things with you. Number one, my podcast with this amazing soul right here comes out tomorrow. And it's so perfect for these times because I think one of the great gifts that Nick gives you is his faith. But number two is just perspective on overcoming adversity. And we talk a lot about this, as you know, brother, in the show. And so I don't want to give away all of that. But I want everyone to know this. I'm going to give you a gift since you're on the Instagram Live. We'll have between 1,500 and 2,500 people on here tonight, 1,477 right now. Is that if you want to get access to the show, if you DM me right now, interview, I believe that's what you're supposed to DM me. If you DM me the word interview, we're going to get you early access to this interview so that you don't have to wait till tomorrow to get it like the rest of the world that's not on the live, okay? So for all of you that want it, DM me the word interview, and we're going to get you access when we're done right here, okay? So, Nick, let me ask you a question. Let's help everybody here for, 15 minutes or so because it's not normal they get access to somebody like you. You guys, how many countries, Nick, have you spoken in?
74.
70 freaking 4 countries.
Yes.
And do you have any idea how many people that's amounted to over all that time? Do you have any idea?
8.5 million people in 3,500 country, 3,500 speeches. Say 8.5 million face to face.
Unbelievable. And by the way, to do those speeches, guys, Nick doesn't have arms and legs. It's not the easiest thing in the world for you to fly commercially everywhere you go. And do you have any idea how many miles it's been that you've flown? Yep. Do you know?
You know what? And funny, I always complain about the leg room. I've done 3 million.
3 million miles?
Yeah.
And you complained about the leg room. Just stop it. You kill me, man. Let's talk a little bit about adversity for a second, because when you're born the way you were born, and we talk about this more specifically in the interview, but when you were born, tell them the story just really quick about how it affected your mom for a minute. And then for you, what you've learned about adversity and overcoming it, because you've had so much of it in your life. So just give them a little tidbit of what they're going to get in the interview.
Look, I was really thankful and blessed to be born into a home that loved me and accepted me the way that I am and encouraged me. But man, it was a huge shock, and the emotional roller coaster from shock to grief to despair to questioning of guilt that my mom had. Like, what did I do in my life? What did I do wrong in my pregnancy, if anything, that would cause my firstborn son to have no arms and legs? And it actually took my mom 4 months to be able to hold her limbless boy with an acceptance in her heart. And it was as if she said that she was living in a daily nightmare, feeling like any moment she's going to wake up from this. And so they had no idea that I was going to be born this way. And when I was born, the doctor said I would not walk. The doctor said I wouldn't go to school. But little did they know that my mom's a fighter and my dad's a fighter. And they actually used me as a case to trailblaze special needs integration into the education of Australia. And I was the first disabled kid to go through the school system of Australia in 1989. And I was on
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, on national news. I was awarded Young Citizen of the Year in 1990 or 91. And so for me, I had to become accustomed to impossibilities.
Yeah.
And have to reprogram my brain that I might be different and I can't do everything that everyone else can do. But it was like, I love how Albert Einstein he said, the genius are those who obsess over impossibilities. And so I've had to overcome, in my mind, the impossible and conquered one obstacle at a time, to a point now that obstacles and challenges are not necessarily just a bad thing. I mean, you and I know, Ed, that those who are agile entrepreneurs, just because you fall flat in your face, and cash flow kills you, it doesn't mean it's the end. You pivot into something greater, and it's maybe even healthier on a business level eventually. But for me in life, I've been accustomed to redefining impossible and changing obstacles into opportunities.
And we talk about this, guys, in the interview in a lot of detail. Nick takes you through some real strategy. And again, if you want it early, you just DM me the word interview right now. We'll get it to you early, since you were being rewarded for being on this call with us tonight. And bro, I got to tell you, I meant what I said earlier. That interview just stuck with me. I think it's so appropriate for what people are going through right now with all this adversity, all this anxiety. And to be really honest, and I have a tendency to do this too, focusing on what they don't have right now. I don't have my income that I had, and that's real for people, right? I don't have the security I had. I don't have this illusion of predictability about my future. And I think what starts to happen is when you begin to look at something, you find it. And when you're starting to look at all the things that you don't have now, one of the things that you taught me in this interview was what you just said, which is looking at what you do have. But how did that really apply? Like, you're playing dodgeball in school and you can't play dodgeball, right? Or it's going to be like, how do you, people kind of feel that way right now. I turn my filter off. Now I look like me. So my team they like to make me look young. But how do you do that? So if you're playing a game and like you're out of that game now, how did you deal with that all your life? Not focusing on what you don't have, but focusing on what you do have.
Real quick story. It was an epiphany that came to a reality at age 13, where I have a little appendage on my bottom left of my torso, my little foot, and I love soccer. And I hurt my foot so bad I couldn't walk for 3 days,
Yeah.
staring at the ceiling in my bed and thinking, man, I gotta be thankful for what I have instead of being angry for what I don't have. And for me, when I was going through depression, isolation, anxiety, and even thoughts of suicide that led to an attempted suicide at age 10, I knew what a friend and true friendship could mean to me. So when I knew that a true friendship or an encouraging or kind word could go far beyond the satisfaction of being able to do something or have something versus being someone.
Ooh.
Being someone versus having something is way more important than what you can achieve. And that's what defines who you are and your value. And so when I was at school, not being able to play that elimination game, I was waiting for the first person who would normally feel like a loser because once again, they're the first one out of the elimination game. But then I'm just waiting for that person to come next to me and say, hey, better luck next time. You did pretty good. How you doing? How's life? Talk to me. Because I knew that life was more about achieving things. Money comes and goes, success comes and goes, but who we are and our value has nothing to do with that stuff. I mean, Ed, I love sharing that story, that it was the janitor at my high school who was the first person to look at me and say, you're going to be a speaker. I mean, that's the understanding that we all go through ups and downs. No one is immune to fear. And but we can overcome our fear, face it, and conquer it with these values and attitudes to reframe. And I just want to encourage everyone, Ed, because, you know, that whole understanding of some of these episodes of, you know, just brainwash yourself to success, you know, like that's not going to relate to people when you're right here, right now. What's right here, right now is that it feels yucky. It's gooey. It's smelly. But don't get stuck in the yuck.
Yeah, man.
Don't go shoulda, coulda, woulda. If I only knew now when I, you know, whatever. No, build a foundation. Put one step in front of the other. Be thankful for what you have. We have life. We're breathing. 2008 World Economic Crisis. 9/11. You know, I lost all my money in 2011. You share your story about how you and your wife went through so much. We all go through something. And money, there's nothing wrong with money. Nothing wrong with pursuing success, but money itself don't give you the satisfaction of what you're doing and what you're going to be in your life. But in your life today, be thankful for what you have. And I tell people all the time, those people who are the happiest have an attitude of gratitude.
Yeah.
When
And that's
you have much or little, when you focus on what you have, that's where you stop, baby.
See, the reason God's so good, you and I shot this interview right when this stuff was starting to really come to fruition, but it was a few weeks ago, everybody. And I remember thinking, if this gets any worse, I'm going to be able to share this man who's lived these principles. It's so easy to say what you just said. What's different, guys, with Nick and why this interview is going to be special is he's lived those things. Like, he's had to live them. He was born with no arms and no legs. He knows what it's like to very easily be able to look at what you don't have in your life, which is what many of us are going through right now. And he shared a story on the show that he just shared with you, but I want to give you all a little flavor of. And by the way, if you're late to the live here, if you DM me the word interview, we'll get you the interview early before it comes out tomorrow, because it comes out tomorrow. But what he was referring to earlier was that the janitor of his high school changed the world, guys. His janitor at his high school changed the world. Why? And I've been saying this recently. When you're feeling helpless, become helpful. The antidote to helplessness is helpfulness. If you're right now, I feel so helpless. I'm serious. Find a way to help somebody. Reach out. How can I serve you? Are you okay? I love you. Can I do anything for you? When you become helpful, helplessness can't coexist at the same time. And that janitor at your high school, probably many days of his life, felt like he didn't have a mission or a purpose, or might have felt helpless many times. And he became helpful. And in a small incident with a little boy at a school, he's changed 8 to 10 million people's lives in 75 countries because he was helpful in a small moment. And small and big moments in our life, we're called to do something great. And not enough of us are reminded of this right now because we're in scarcity mode. We're in survival mode. And you know what? You should be. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be scared right now. It's okay to feel those emotions. But one, you don't need to believe everything you think. Not everything you think is true. You don't have to act on every emotion, even though it's appropriate to have them. You can simultaneously have those emotions and say, my God, you know what though? I'm going to be helpful. I'm going to be resourceful. I'm training. I'm preparing. I'm getting ready to come out of this, because you don't know what that one small act of kindness, of helpfulness will do. But that janitor at your high school, that one small act, that one day, imagine if he was having trouble at home or money trouble, he still found a way to reach that little boy who's become Nick, who's one of the most prolific speakers on topics of faith and changing your life and gratitude in the world. And it doesn't happen without that one act of helpfulness. So just remember that story of that janitor, everybody, in his life. Last thing, Nick, before we click off.
Wait. Can I just tell your followers something?
Please.
To apply exactly what Ed just said. Think about right now someone who you can call, because you're thinking, man, you guys are talking about being helpful when I'm helpless.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up the phone. You have no idea what seeds, the power of that encouragement, just being a listening ear to somebody. Not that you feel like you can offer help, but just doing life together. If not now, when? You know, and just encouraging somebody to say, you know what, sometimes it just takes a friend to say, keep going. I believe.
Keep going. I think that everybody, because of social media, I think this is such a profound point. Because of social media, you see people, we've got several thousand people on here, or they have millions of followers. I think sometimes that convinces people that they're not called to greatness because what they may be doing is on such a small scale. Somehow scalability has equaled impact in the world. And that's not impact. Impact is one human being at a time. And so I don't care if you have no followers on here. You're called to do something great. And by the way, that calling is now. If ever in your life you were called to make a difference, it's right now when you're hurting. It's right now when everyone you know is hurting. And that, I love you, I care about you, can I help you? I was just thinking about you. Just saying, I was thinking about you makes such a difference, because everyone feels invisible right now. Everyone feels small right now. And when you just call somebody or text somebody, they're not so small. They're not so invisible. It's not corny. It's not hokey. If you're an entrepreneur, you go, well, how does this apply to my business life? Just everything. Your clients, the people that work with you, they're going to remember how you treated them right now. They're going to remember whether you were there for them when it was really tough. Did you really believe in your vision? Do you really believe in your dream? Do you really believe in them? Do you really care about them? Your clients, the people that work with you, the people that might work with you someday, they're going to remember these moments. If you did something great and you rose up, or if you were all about you and helpless, and you're not that. You're called to do something awesome with your life. Okay, last thing. By the way, DM me interview if you want access to the interview early right now. Nick, last thing. If you were just to give everybody just one small piece of advice right now, because I wanted to watch the interview, right? But I think you have a PhD in overcoming adversity. You have a PhD in faith as well. And I'm just curious, you know, a lot of people don't get access live with you or myself. If you just had a piece of advice, hey, I know you're hurting right now, what would you say to someone that's listening right now who may just need a little of your wisdom?
There are so many people right now who might be thinking that all is lost. And I want you to know, my friend, you're still here for a reason, and don't ever give up. You don't need a miracle to be a miracle for someone else. And I'm just so glad that God took my broken pieces and did something beautiful in a way that I was able to connect with someone else who is brokenhearted and disabled with fear, crippled more than me. And I helped them lose their chains. And a limbless man, if he can help someone else, then you can lend a hand to somebody else. And I just want you, first of all, to be your best friend. Take one day at a time. Maybe today, write down the things that you're really thankful for, and just be thankful for them. And text that friend, text that family. You're in your home, social distancing. Don't reply there. You can still give them a hug. You can still massage your stinky wife's feet. You know, do something that connects back to faith, family, and friends, the three core things that help me to overcome. And I want you to know you are going to overcome. Take one day at a time, and never, ever give up. That is one thing that I tell everyone. You don't know what's around the corner until you go around the corner. Take one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. Don't live in the future. Don't live in the past. Live in the now. You know, and I've even gone through, I told you, Ed, you know, with all this stuff, there'll be times where you feel a little numb in the brain. There'll be times where you feel a little panicked, but don't live there. Break through that and face your fear and keep on going. You will overcome this too and become stronger and wiser and more nimble.
See, everybody, now you know why I wanted to share Nick with you tonight before the interview. I just felt like, by the way, today I had a different feeling. I just tell you all, first day this has been going on. By the way, I have no data to support this, no evidence. I said this on my Instagram story, no facts. I just felt encouraged today that something good's coming. I can't prove it to you. I may be wrong, but I just feel like we're coming to a point where this is going to get better soon. It might get a little bit worse, but we're going to come out of this. Everything's going to be okay. And I think tomorrow, the timing of this interview is a godsend that this is coming out tomorrow. And I want to thank you, brother, because it made a difference for me. I got to rewatch our interview today just to make sure it was, you know, there were no edits, but I wanted to make sure. And I got emotional watching it, knowing how many people need this conversation right now and just needed a little bit of this tonight too. And so thank you. And I love you, brother. I love you back. And I can't wait for tomorrow. So you guys go follow Nick if you're not following Nick here on Instagram. And
I'll be telling all my followers tomorrow that it's up and released.
Yeah.
A day after that, and I can't wait to see what our friendship unfolds, man.
Don't you feel it's something bigger? Don't you feel it?
Yeah, we got to talk, man.
Yeah, I know. We got a lot to talk about. Everybody, last thing I want to give you a little gift. Ask yourself this question tonight. What is this trying to teach me? What is this moment trying to teach me right now? You got to get something for your pain, right? And for all of us, the lessons are different. But this moment, this time, this situation, it's trying to teach you something. It's trying to teach me something and you something. And probably the lessons are different for Nick, for me, and for you. But it would be terrible to go through this time without asking yourself, what am I learning right now? What is this here to teach me? So that you get something for all this pain. All right, everybody. God bless you. Nick, we'll be talking tomorrow. I love you, brother. Everyone, DM me interview if you want to get early access. Otherwise, it's coming out tomorrow. And I hope it makes a difference in your life. God bless you all. See you, bro.
Love you, man. Bye.
Love you.